Okay, so now we're moving on. We're talking about limited liability business forms. Let's start with the limited liability company, or the LLC. I actually have an LLC set up for my firm. It's a hybrid that combines the limited liability aspects of a corporation, that's a good thing, and the tax advantages of a partnership. So what we got He-Man and Skeletor. And I know what you are thinking. Well, how on earth are He-Man and Skeletor going to form a limited liability company? Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the nature of an LLC. Must be formed and operated in compliance with state law. Now, that's state law. So obviously, the laws in the great state of Georgia, they could be different from South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee. Sounds like an SEC game, but regardless, they got to abide by state law. Owners of the LLC, they're not partners, they're members. Yes, I know, it's members, not partners. Members of an LLC have limited liability, and that's one of the good things about an LLC. There's that corporate veil, if you would. A court may apply the alter ego theory, or in this case, this is dealing with the corporate veil, when a member commingles assets. So what we have is He-Man and Skeletor. They're really good friends. See that? And if you believe that, I got a Bridge and Brooklyn to sell you. But they're friends. They're operating an LLC. But let's say Skeletor, who's clearly evil, commingles his personal assets with the LLC, or sell deals. Well, under that case, if he's really not using the LLC as a separate entity, they could use the alter ego theory and go after Skeletor. All right. An LLC is a legal entity apart from its owners. Okay. So again, if He-Man and Skeletor were to do something evil, then what you would have to do is actually sue the LLC. How is this thing formed? Very carefully. Obviously, I would tell you to contact a lawyer if you want to put one of these things together. But let's talk about it from a very simplistic point of view. You have your articles of organization, and certainly with the articles of organization, you have to comply with state statutes. Remember, LLCs are formed based on state law. They need to be filed with the Secretary of State. I know whenever I did mine, I put everything together. I went online to the Secretary of State's websites, filled out all the paperwork, paid the freight on it, and I was good to go. I now have an LLC. Generally, what you're going to have is the name of the business. In my case, the law offices of Michael R. Childs LLC, principal address here, name and address of registered agent. That's me. In He-Man and Skeletor's case, it's probably Skeletor. They know they're going to get sued. But the registered agent is the person whom you would file suit, or who can receive service in the event of a lawsuit. The member's name, Mike, or in He-Man and Skeletor's case, Candor and Adam, which I didn't know that one. Management, and then LLC at the end. And that LLC needs to be at the end to let the whole world know that this is in fact an LLC. Performance contracts. Once the LLC is formed, any pre-incorporation contract needs to be adopted by novation by the LLC, which means is that certainly while you're starting the business, there's going to be individuals similar to incorporators who try to set up the business, and they'll enter into contracts on behalf of the LLC. But then those individuals, He-Man and Skeletor, need to be relieved from liability. As such, the LLC would do a novation and remove liability from He-Man and Skeletor, and thereby take it upon the LLC. Jurisdictional requirements I thought was very interesting. Jurisdiction is generally where the members are domiciled. Okay, so keep that in mind if you ever want to file suit.